Hi, I am Patty L. Huff. I am the author of the book Upcycle with Decoupage, available on Amazon, Scobie Books, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you want to find it online. But today, we're not going to do decoupage. We're going to do an imitation of Dorothy's ruby slippers. I don't know why they were called slippers because they were regular shoes. And I looked at the poster online, and this was about as close as I could come to a shoe. Here is the before, by the way. And I'm showing you this because I want you to know that no matter what color you have in your shoe, this is painter's tape, you can still paint over it. I'll tell you how. And you can come up with the perfect color and the perfect ruby red shoe. And this came out so pretty. I'm quite surprised at how nice it is. So let me show you step by step how we can do it. The very first thing you're going to need, painter's tape. That's a low tack tape you can get in any hardware store. Gesso. You can get that in the craft store, in the art section. Any art store would carry it. This is Mod Podge. Any decoupage glue or Mod Podge would work well. Keep several brushes on hand. You're going to need quite a few of these sponge brushes. This bow, because Dorothy's shoes have a bow on them, was originally white. I got this in the floral section of the craft store. You're going to need 2 clothespins. I use this it was called E6000 glue, and it just says quick hold on it now. You can get this in the craft store. You can also get it in any hardware store. Nothing works like this. Once something is on, it's on permanently, so I am not fooling around with any other glues. I'm just using this one. Cups. You'll need these little Dixie cups because we're going to, actually you'll need about 4 or 5 of them. We're going to mix the paint if you need to mix the color to get it just right, because here's the other thing. You're going to need a ruby colored paint. And I looked all over the stores. Some were called ruby. Then I got them home. They looked incredibly red to me. So if you can find a ruby paint, you're ahead of the game. What I did was I purchased one, came home. It was fire engine red. And I went online and discovered that you can add, and I mean do it very slowly, a drop or 2 of black paint to the red to get it to ruby. Don't glop it in there because then it'll turn wine. It gets very rich and deep, and sometimes it just gets a murky, ugly color, so don't do that. This is actually a glitter that I found in the craft store, and it's got 2 different sizes. One big chunky red glitter, and the other is the very fine red glitter. Actually, I think it's called Ruby Metallic, so I was very excited to find that. I think the very last thing we'll be needing is, this is one of my favorite products ever, triple thick, and that will be to go on the outside to give it the really high gloss. And do the first step. One more thing, I apologize, I didn't tell you. If you have some bubble wrap, newspaper, plastic bags, whatever you want to put those on the inside of the shoe after we're done taping. So I'll just show you real quickly how I did this tape part around the base of the shoe. You don't want any of the paints or glitters to get around there. So I, in sections, took a part of the shoe and got that tape in the seam as best I could, and then folded it over. And then I went around the whole shoe and did the same thing. And I also went around the inside and lined the tape up just below the seam on the inside. The next thing we're going to do, once we have all of this covered and you're inside, is we're going to paint the shoe with gesso. Go ahead and use the gesso all around your shoe, just the outside, and I'll come back and show you the next step. While your shoe is drying, you might want to mix the paint, and if you found a true ruby color that you're happy with, perfect, you can use that. If not, it was a big help to me that I did not have to run out and look for yet another ruby colored paint. I was able to go online and see that you could just add drops of black until you're content with the color. So I finally got to, looks a little murky, but it's a nice color on, as you saw in the finished shoe. So before you paint, make sure you put some stuffing of any kind that you want inside the shoe. And I have the wax paper down in case I drip or drop anything. And that's all there is to this. You just keep painting. I only used one coat of gesso, one coat of paint, and I'll finish painting the rest of the shoe and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I've painted the whole shoe and I'm going to give it about 20 minutes at least, 20 minutes to dry. You want to make sure the shoe is dry before you move on to the next step. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'm so sorry, as you're gessoing the shoe, you want to make sure you gesso the bow also, both sides of the bow. That will make it nice and stiff. And when the gesso dries, just like it did with the shoe, you'll also want to paint the bow. You don't have to attach it yet, but paint the bow at the same time you paint the shoe so that everything's drying in the same time. I hope I did not set you back a little bit there. The shoe's dry. We'll now move on to the next step. You can feel it, it's dry. It doesn't come off on your hands. It's not as shiny as it was before. And here's where we're going to take some decoupage glue or craft glitter, the Mod Podge, whatever you have on hand. Those white glues that dry clear is what we're going for. Pour a couple of tablespoons of glue into the cup and then a tablespoon of glitter. And if you want to double that on both, do 4 tablespoons of this and then 2 tablespoons of the glitter. We're going to start with the fine glitter first. You stir it up and it comes out looking not very nice, right? But I assure you, this is how this shoe got started and finished. So this is how it looks. Don't let that worry you. It's not very attractive. And you can't believe it will be shiny once this dries. And we'll just start to paint the glitter on the whole shoe. And I will let you go ahead and paint your glitter on the shoe and the bow. And we're going to do 2 or 3 coats of this. So put the glitter over the whole shoe, let it dry, give it about 15 to 20 minutes, should be okay, maybe a half an hour. Let it dry, then go back and repeat with that same glitter, a second coat. You may not want a 3rd coat. I think I only put 2 coats on this, but I also went a little heavier on the glitter and the glue in the first time. But it's up to you, eyeball it, see how you like it. When you're all dry, come on back and we'll tell you what the next step is. Here's the first coat over the shoe, and I'm going to add 1 more coat all around the whole shoe. I just started with the second shoe, adding the second layer of glitter, and I'm going to finish this and then come back and we'll add the chunky glitter. Second layer of glitter and glue is dry. And follow that same process to make the chunky coat of glitter. We'll apply that. This we only need 1 coat of because this is just going to give a smattering of the chunky glitter. You don't want to cover the whole shoe in that, and that will just give it some really nice depth in certain spots. So we'll cover the whole shoe with the, here's what the chunky glitter glue looks like. We'll cover the whole shoe with that and come back when that's dry to apply the very shiny top coat. Okay, the last couple of steps are just going to be that you'll take a dab of the glue and put it on the back of the bow. The shoe is completely dry now. You're going to put this on the back of the bow. Whoops, got a little glitter there. Use the clothespin to clamp it in place, which is where it will dry. While it's drying, you can add the top coat, and look at the difference. Here, there is no top coat. Here is the top coat. Top coat, you want to be a little careful when you apply the triple thick, because it is so thick. If you put it on too thick, it will run and drip, and it will dry that way with drips in it. So you just kind of have to use the right amount. I tend to have a heavy hand, so I personally have to be very, very careful with this step. And I keep an eye on it, because if I see glops or drips, I go back and fix it. Basically though, we are all done. Once these dry, I'm going to come back and just film them and show you how they look, the complete pair. Uh-oh. I don't know what I got in there. I see little white spots. I'll fix it. But that is the completed shoe. When it's dry, it's going to look exactly like this one. And let me just show you two things. Because I had extra everything left over. I took this plastic Christmas ball, applied gesso to it, one coat of glitter. I still have some extra left over, so I'm going to finish this the exact same way I finished the shoes. And here's a heart, wooden heart. You get these at the craft store. Followed all the same steps for the wooden heart. High gloss. This isn't dry yet. This is going to be perfect for Valentine's Day. This will be perfect for Christmas. You can do whatever colors you want. And I am also going to find a pair of summer shoes and do a blue-green image on them. So thanks a lot for watching. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact me. My website is Upcycle with Decoupage. Even though this isn't decoupage, it certainly is an upcycle. By the way, this is the picture of the original Dorothy shoes that appeared in the movie. Pretty close, I'd say. Look at that. So thanks again, guys. Contact me if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help you out. Bye-bye.
You gotta stop working there, dear. Okay, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Very pretty, hon. The shoes are nice to have.
Thank you, hon.
Okay.